gave me an experience beyond my years. It was sad to see corpses. The Japanese corpses were rotten and rotted out and bloated and all that. And, that didn't move me, but to see, like I said, I went from G Company to I Company, and G Company went to south a little before we did, and to come into their area and see some of the Marines that I knew very well, a corpse, it saddened me, but I never had nightmares over it. And you know, there were things that brightened you up too. For example, when I was wounded and was brought back. To go back, when I was wounded, I was moving, you know, from foxhole to foxhole, and apparently a knee mortar came in, and it broke my arm, and shrapnel went into my legs. I had a sergeant from Jersey City, Chibin, who I used to box with, and he was right there, and we had a little brandy, and he gave me brandy, and so I got carried back by a former football player, NFL football player. He played for Mississippi and then for the Chicago Bears, H.A. Smith. And when I got back, I was treated by the battalion surgeon, whom I knew, and I said to him, I said, Doc, am I going to lose the arm? And he said to me, lose the arm? No. He says, you're drunk, you bastard. He says, you're going to keep the arm and you're going stateside. So it was lighter things like that you know, brightened up a very somber situation. And then when I got on a hospital ship, also, they took me from the field hospital to the hospital ship, and there aboard ship was a lot of wounded laying in different cots and so forth. And I remember the doctors coming through, and there was a Navy guy on they had a couple of layers of beds, and he was in the diagonally across from where I was, and the doc came through, and he was Southern, and he was saying, Doc, my eyes, oh Doc, my eyes, and the doc would lift up the sheet, and for the rear part of the man's body, the guy would say, no, Doc, and he'd point to his eyes, my eyes. So, you know, those things kind of relaxed a very tense situation.
When you got back afterwards, how were you received?
Very well. Unlike what happened to the Vietnam veterans. Unlike that. And when we were over there sloshing around, Chibin, he had a good sense of humor to lighten things up, and they had a song there, is we not the Superman, super duper Superman? Yeah, but would you leave it if you could? Yeah, I would leave it if I could. That was a parody on Hitler, you know. So those things lightened up the tense situation.
We're going to take a break right there. I got to go back over the initial. I wasn't taping in the beginning.
Yeah, he wrote books.
Okay. Returning, this is the 15th of February, 2008, the year of our Lord. Could you state your name, your age?
Yeah, Philip J Mylod. I am 86 years young.
86 years young. Can you tell me what your impression was when you first heard of the outbreak of war out in Germany? How old were you?
I was about 18. I was a sophomore in college at Holy Cross, Worcester, Mass. And my impressions at the time were, you know, will I be able to finish college? Will I be drafted? And will we be able to stop the Nazis who were marching through Europe at the time?
How was Hitler portrayed at that time?
Hitler
By the media, and how did the...
and Mussolini were portrayed as dictators, cruel. And originally we didn't hear too much about the Holocaust. That seemed to develop later.
And where were you at the time when Pearl Harbor was bombed? Can you remember exactly where you were, what you were doing?
Yes, I was on a train. I was home on a short vacation from school. It was December the 7th, 1941. And we were on a train, left Grand Central Station in New York on our way to Worcester. And the news came out that the Japs had bombed Pearl Harbor. And at that time, there was a priest on the train, and we were so outraged that this is the first time I ever heard a priest use strong language. He said, "The dirty bastards." And that's about what the public opinion was of the Japanese, that they betrayed us. It was a betrayal, a secret strike, and the country was outraged, and it really the people joined together and felt that we had to protect ourselves and we had to stop this threat.
So that happened on December 7th. When did you decide to enlist in the Marine Corps?
That would happen about 2 years later when I was a senior. We had Marine recruiters come onto the campus, unlike the people out at Berkeley, California, trying to get rid of the Marine recruiters off the campus. They were welcomed, and they interviewed me. And as a result of that interview, I was instructed to go to Springfield, Mass, to a recruiting station there, and I was sworn in Springfield in March of 1942. And they allowed me to, the deal was that they would allow me to complete my college education, and graduated in May of 42 from Holy Cross.
May of 42. And what was the reaction of your parents? I mean, their only son. How did your mom and dad feel about that?
Well, they backed me up, of course. I'm a parent now, and I know how I feel about my children, and naturally, mothers don't want to see their sons go to war, and my father was the same way, but they backed me and never tried to dissuade me in any way.
So March 1942, this we're talking about. Where did you go for training?
I trained at Quantico. I had a 9-month course down there. It was about 4 months as PFC, and then they trained us in officers candidates class for about another 5 months or so. And in November, they commissioned me as second lieutenant, and I got orders to go to Panama.
And so you went to Panama, and then the end of 42, November 42?
Yeah.
And you stayed in Panama for how long?
There for 15 months. We did guard duty at different naval bases on the East Coast and the West Coast. And we also did duty aboard ships going through the canal so that there were no sabotage, ships being sabotaged to block the canal. And we did jungle training.